everybody, welcome to an all-new episode of the Loud Casa Talks. My name is Nate, and alongside is my good buddy Omid. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, I'm doing good, bro. What's going on, Loud Crown and Casa crew? Hope y'all having a Merry Christmas and a
Right.
Happy New Year.
All right. So, speaking of Christmas, how has your Christmas been this year?
Oh, my Christmas was very chill. Needless to say, it was a very calm and soothing Christmas day for me. Well, firstly, because it was my day off, and second off, me, my mom, and her boyfriend got up in the morning to open up Christmas presents, and then after that, we had some Cinnabons for breakfast, and then we were watching Christmas movies and Christmas
Nice.
specials, and then we were baking cookies and yeah, all that stuff. We were just like eating sugar and consuming Christmas media. We watched Jim Carrey's How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Nice.
We were watching Muppets Christmas Carol. We were watching A Charlie Brown Christmas. We were watching Love Actually and
Nice.
all that
So
stuff.
there's like tons of Christmas movies out there, and that's good that you're catching up with your folks and watching Christmas movies. So that's good. But for me, what's kind of crazy is that my family's kind of close by, like live in the same city. So I was able to visit with my aunt and uncle, and I was able to, have a fun time with them and my cousin as well. So we ended up. So what the other thing too is that we ended up staying outside doing this whole activity. So we were mostly outside opening gifts, eating dinner, eating lunch, and just having a good Christmas time with the family. That was pretty much it, though, because all we did was just hang out with family, and then after that went home and then pretty much like slept the night away because we were stuffed with food.
Yeah, and also another thing too is that we also did a Panda Express Chinese takeout.
Really? You like Panda Express?
I mean, like we were in the mood for Chinese food, and Panda Express was nearby.
That's not the best option in my opinion.
I mean, yes, I definitely agree, but it was the quickest. There's a term called Express for a reason.
Okay, whatever. All right, your opinion, but like I said, not my favorite kind of Chinese food.
It's not mine either, but we just wanted to get Chinese food quickly.
Yeah, I understand that, but let's move on. I know that people get gifts on Christmas, so what did you get for Christmas?
Well, I got a leather jacket from my mom. I got an Amazon gift card from my mom's boyfriend. I got a Raiders jersey from my brother. Hell yeah! And of course, I got a gift from you too. I got
What
this
is it?
cutie right here.
Look at that! A Luna
Loud
plushie! Oh snap!
Look at that.
So when you opened up the gift, how surprised were you when you saw that?
Well, actually, I actually wasn't surprised because my taste in characters and stuff like that. Because not only did you give me this cutie right here, hey Nate, what's going on, dude? Thank you so much. Give me.
I think I gave Luna to their number one fan right now.
And also a Todoroki shirt because Todoroki is my favorite My Hero Academia character. So yeah, definitely a huge shout out to you. And you know what? For the rest of this podcast, I'm actually gonna have this cutie Luna Loud. I'm gonna have this Best Loud House Girl be another guest in our podcast, bro.
You know what? We have two Loud House guests there. We have two Loud House guests right behind me. Lincoln and Luann right there behind me.
That actually reminds me. I need a Luann plushie too. So
let's go try to find one. There's some stores there's not stores, but it's mostly like people who are selling them on eBay. Just go ahead and buy that. But for my Christmas, I ended up getting so what's kind of funny is that my sister and my aunt actually worked together and actually got me a grill, so I can actually start cooking up some good stuff like barbecues outside. So whenever you're in the mood for a burger or a steak, just come by and then I can just serve it up for you, but not right now because it's COVID at the moment.
Yeah, and California's having it the worst, honestly.
Right.
I just want to move to Nevada with my brother. It's gone that bad.
We'll see. But I also did get participating in Secret Santas, I ended up getting a picture from a really awesome artist called Sewergator on DeviantArt. I also did get a secret. We also did a real life Secret Santa with a couple of my friends, and it turned out to be a really cool Secret Santa. I didn't expect my Secret Santa to buy me a lot of stuff, so I ended up getting like a Animal Crossing T-shirt, a My Hero Academia cereal. My Hero Academia, yeah.
Nice.
I got it up.
I gotta
getting
see
like
that cereal. I gotta see that cereal.
It's actually it's pretty crazy because it's like crunch berries to say. It's actually pretty good. And then also my friend Justin, he also gave me a plushies, and same with my Sacred Santa, who also gave me plushies. By the way, you can see them in the back. By the way, there's a brand new Deku right behind me and a brand new Zenitsu. You can thank my Secret Santas for that.
Oh,
but
man.
yeah, my Christmas turned out to be pretty good. I actually did have a fun time at Christmas, even if I had to stay mostly indoors. It turned out to be a really fun time.
Yeah, it turned out to be a fun time too. Like, I am dead cereal when I say this. This was a
come
good
on.
I'm
Cereal.
super
Dead
cereal.
cereal.
I'm super cereal. I'm sounding like Al Gore from South Park right now.
All right.
Cereal.
All right. Let's move on. All right. So New Year's coming up. We got a couple of days left till New Year's begins. Do you have any plans coming up for New Year's?
Not much, honestly. Well, for New Year's Eve, I still have to work until 5:30 p.m. So thankfully, we do get off early. But after that, I'm definitely going to tune in for the Casa Live session with Surin.
Hey.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing all y'all there, watching you, Natalie, and Sunny, and the host with the most, Surin himself, do your thing. And then basically, I'm celebrating with my mom or boyfriend and my grandma. My grandma's staying over for New Year's Eve.
Oh,
and
okay.
then we're just going to watch and we're going to enjoy watching 2020 die. And then
to be honest, yeah, we all are waiting for that year to end. We are all waiting for that year to end. Holy shit. I know 2021 has a lot of potential for hopefully getting us back to normality, but for the time being, we're still going to be stuck in home, and hopefully this doesn't last another year.
Yeah, I hope so too. And after Midnight Strikes, of course, I'll just be watching Cobra Kai Season 3. That's my New Year's celebration.
You know what I need to do? I probably need to watch Soul because I heard it was a really good movie.
I need to watch it too. Like, I have yet to see it, but I plan to see it real soon.
We could probably do like a thing. Maybe we can watch it together. I don't know.
Dude, let's do it.
Okay.
I've been waiting to watch it for someone.
Okay, yeah, then we could probably do that. We could do a live stream on something like Discord or something. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, that's it for our introductions. Let's go ahead straight to our recent news. All right, so let's change that little icon here. All right, on to our recent news. So we have gotten news that there are brand new Casagrandes episodes coming out soon, and we have their titles and synopsises that is available for view. So let's go ahead and break down our thoughts for these next upcoming episodes. So let's go. Oops, I bad on that. Ugh, sorry about that. So let's go ahead and start with this episode here. Actually, no, there's no title cards on this, so let's actually just do this. All right, so first episode is called Teacher's Fret. Ronnie Ann finds out that Arturo is dating her teacher. Wait a minute. So I know Arturo is single and is away from Maria, but okay, that's kind of a little bit awkward, right? That Arturo is going to date that teacher that we saw in Team Effort.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree. It is going to be a bit awkward seeing Ronnie Ann's dad date Ronnie Ann's teacher.
I know. But I'm like, how do you think it's gonna be portrayed? Like, I guess Ronnie Ann is gonna be a little bit awkward and tries her best to, not make them together or something.
It's actually going to be awkward and yet interesting at the same time. And because it's Arturo on a date and it's not with Maria, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I actually want Maria to play a big role in this episode. Rather it be Maria herself actually setting up a date with Ronnie Ann's dad, like Maria's ex-husband, and Ronnie Ann's teacher, like, or another woman. Like, either have Maria play the matchmaker, or have Maria reveal her backstory of the divorce between her and Arturo, or the best case scenario would be, hear me out.
Both, really interesting. So the way I'm kind of perceiving it is like I don't know. It just feels like Ronnie Ann will probably not be okay with that because I think just the other thing too is like I don't know how Maria and Arturo actually split, and we have not ever heard of that. All I know is that they are split. I was thinking maybe they might actually like say a little bit more about that. But the other thing too is that do you really want to see Arturo and that teacher actually date and make it a thing in the show? Which, to be honest, possibly. I kind of feel like it may not be like a huge thing to have those two together, but let's see how it goes. I think like it could be a thing where those two can date. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, but that's actually going to be an interesting little episode, though. So, not much has been said, but the synopsis is there. For those who are watching, you will probably be thinking about what is going to happen in that episode. But yeah, just a heads up, that's going to be a little bit of a scandalous episode, that's for sure. All right, so let's on to the next one that we also saw, an utter mess. So Ronnie Ann must choose between her besties. Oh no, this looks bad. What is your portrayal on this episode?
Oh look, it's the Casagrandes version of Everybody versus Lenny. Hey, you know what we should call this episode? Oh, hear me out. Everybody loves Ronnie Ann.
Okay.
But in all seriousness, though, I feel that she already does have a bestie. Hear me out. 2 words. Sid Chang.
Yes, even I know that.
I honestly don't see why this has to be a plot for an episode. I really don't, because Ronnie Ann has said herself, and she stated plenty of times, that Sid is her BFF. Why does she feel the need to struggle between choosing Sid and another character that she considers just as much as, or more so, of a best friend than Sid? I mean, she can have a bestie and a second bestie. I mean, that's usually how it works.
I just feel like it's gonna be like a friend war to say, like Ronnie Ann and Sid take on like the rest. I mean, I don't know how this is going to be portrayed. It looks like to be a friend duel, which kind of misinterprets what's going on with the friend group here. I mean, like they're good friends. They always like meet up with each other. What made them want to fight over Ronnie Ann to say? So I don't understand that part. I don't know why they had to make an episode like that, but like you said, for about Everybody Loves Lenny, it's always been a friend versus friend thing. Let's see how this all gets portrayed here. And good luck for Ronnie Ann, because it seems that it's just going to be all focused on her. All right, so here's the next episode that also did come out. It's called Fool's Gold. The Casagrandes find the treasure map. It's pretty basic synopsis there, but it kind of feels like it's something like the episode from Loud House is Loud, 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 Loud House. Do you think that's do you think it's the same as well?
This one I'm looking forward to for the thrill of it. Like, I'm excited to see the Casagrandes on a legit treasure hunting adventure. This will probably give some sort of, like, I don't know, Uncharted vibe or DuckTales vibe, since technically those Uncharted and DuckTales were pretty much video game series and cartoon series respectively. They were pretty much centered around finding some sort of treasure or gold, in a sense. It's not going to be as grand. It's going to be much, much smaller, but the adventure is still going to be there. And honestly, I feel that they may throw an Indiana Jones reference too.
Really?
I mean, why not? Like, why not have an Indiana Jones reference in a treasure hunting adventure, right?
maybe like a pirates thing, because CJ will probably be a part of this episode, and a pirates theme might also be a part of it as well. I don't know. It just makes me feel like it's something like it's a Loud, Loud, Loud House, but it's like there's no lesson in this. It's just more like here's a treasure map, so let's go find a treasure. But watch it be like something from High and By. It's like an old treasure map. Oh, you guys found the treasure. Here's like a coupon for High and By.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that actually did happen.
See, so yeah, I mean that looks like to be a potential, but it'd be crazy if it actually becomes like real treasure to say.
True
All
that.
right. All right. So, last one that we also saw in the synopsis here, flight plan that's going to be coming out for the Casagrandes. This is actually an interesting one here because it's Frida and Carlos going on a fancy plane ride. What do you think about this episode?
I feel this is going to be a cute and romantic one. But, however, it leaves me with one question. Where are they going to go? I mean, you got a fancy plane ride. You got a plane ride nonetheless. So they're bound to go somewhere. My guesses are either Paris or Rome or Greece or anywhere in Europe. Yeah, honestly, I think they could go somewhere in Europe because Europe is the most romantic continent, if you catch my drift.
I would say Paris. Yeah, Paris would be like the best time for those two because they're lovers and all. But the other thing too is like we never seen a Carlos and Frida episode yet. So this is gonna be the first time we're gonna see those two actually have like a chemistry episode or those two like being in love and stuff. So I thought that was gonna be a pretty interesting stuff. But the other thing too is the plane ride. How is that going to happen? Like, oh, they won a contest, so they end up getting to a fancy plane and ended up going to Paris, for example. But the other thing too is like maybe there's other guests that are in that plane. Could be like a lot of celebrities that could also be there. And what would be great if they actually had like real life celebrities actually be a part of the Casagrandes and actually guest star in this episode. So
yeah, that's true. Like, who do you have in mind? Who do you have in mind?
Oh, good question. Good question. I don't know. Like maybe there could be some good singer. Maybe we could bring what was it? We could bring like I don't know. There's a lot of like possibilities on that. I was thinking like the person who sang the theme song could also be a part of this too. Maybe some awesome singers like Becky G or something. I don't know. There's just tons of names that we can put up in a bar there. It would be great if we could put a celebrity in there.
Oh, what about you, Kwan?
Oh my god! what if BTS actually does make an appearance? And it's like, watch Ronnie Ann like calls Frida and Carlos, and then Ronnie Ann just immediately sees someone from BTS or from 12 is Midnight there, and he's like, "Why are you there? What?"
It's like, why did you take me with you?
It's like, Frida, take me with you. Yeah, that sounds. Yeah.
Another thing too that I want to see, like, I honestly, this is just my prediction, but I feel that the plane will be flooded. The plane inside the plane will be like water because Frida will be crying tears, and then the water is gonna like be so full in the plane that it might end up crashing the plane.
Oh my god! Oh please no! And then they would probably be rescued or something. But I understand Frida's always like very dramatic and stuff. That's what makes her funny. And who knows? That might possibly happen.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yeah. All right. So that's pretty much it for our recent news. There's not really much happening with the Loud House and the Casagrandes during Christmas and New Year's. So that's all we can give you at the moment. And the other thing too is that there is no new episodes at the moment that are currently out on Nickelodeon, so we cannot give you a review yet. So with that in mind, let's go straight to our main subject of the day, which is the best of 2020. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. So nice. All right, so 2020. Well, a year of uncertainty. As we started this year, the team was all good. We all went out of our houses, went to movie theaters, went to conventions, went to hang out with friends, do all this and that. But when March hits, the world changed for all of us. In fact, some of us are still in the midst of the mayhem right now. I mean, right now we can't even be live together because we're still stuck at home and because there's a pandemic still going on right now. Omid, how can you explain 2020?
Oh boy.
I like how engaged you are.
Where to begin? Where to begin? Celebrity deaths, coronavirus, Australian fires, California wildfires, the closure of many places, cons being canceled, not being able to see friends in person, The Last of Us Part 2, anti-maskers, the entire pandemic, and of course, me job hopping frequently. Oh God, this year. There are honestly no words to describe this godforsaken year. Needless to say, if I describe 2020, it's an experience. It's a long, painful, agonizing, year-long experience. All I gotta say.
I can't say much about 2020. I mean, when it all began, I was still working. I was still quote unquote an essential worker, working at this one factory, just working with medical equipment and stuff, which makes sense. We're both we're doing with a lot of medical stuff. It makes sense for us to actually go out and actually work. But at the same time, I was also risky. I was also like making sure that I am safe, wearing masks and all that kind of stuff. The thing that really really hurt me on 2020 was that the cancellation of all the conventions that we could have gone. We could have went to Fanime. We could have went to SDCC. That would have been our topping point right there. And we couldn't be able to go there because of the pandemic. So yeah.
That hurt me the most.
And the other thing too is that I also had to go do a little bit of job hunting myself. I didn't like my job, and even if the coronavirus or the pandemic was a big thing, it just tells how trustworthy people are when it comes to times like these. So with that in mind, I just said like I just wanted to change like my job to say right now where I'm at right now is a good job at the moment, but at the same time, I'm still missing out with all my friends. I'm still missing out on socializing with people and all those good stuff. It's not the same right now. Yeah, it's not the same right now. And I mean, also the fact that there's there's a lot of people who are dying right now because of the whole coronavirus. Plus the other thing too is that there's a lot of celebrities that we love that are currently dead, like Alex Trebek. I mean, that's the one that I think that got me the most. Alex Trebek. I mean, there's a lot more that you can probably list down, but everybody who's out there, it just sucks. I mean, like really right now, it just sucks.
I know, yeah, seriously. Chadwick Boseman.
Oh my god, right? Oh, Chadwick. No, that wasn't even coronavirus related. It was just more cancer. I'm like, right now at this time?
No, but it's still celebrity death. Like celebrity deaths, COVID or not. I'm like counting every celebrity death, COVID or not. And I'm saying in terms of that, we got a lot of people who died during this year. So during this year,
and we can't forget about that. It just stinks that this year had to happen. I thought 2016 was bad, but 2020 again, terrible year.
2020 was far worse.
Oh man. Anyways, so besides that, we at least were able to stay inside, and we were able to at least catch up on, hang out with friends via social distancing. At the same time, it's not the same. It's not the same as like actually personally meeting up with people and talking to them. Don't you agree with this, Omid? I mean, like right now we're currently virtually talking, but it would be great if we actually met up together and actually talked and did our podcast episode there.
Exactly. Yeah, you miss those days, man. But at least we're still keeping in contact with our friends, local or otherwise, including including all our Loud House friends here, Loud House fandom right here. You guys are awesome. We're all one big united community in Discord. We all love you. Thank you for the support.
Yeah. Oh, another thing too, if somebody did put it up on YouTube, Kobe Bryant.
Yeah, of course, Kobe Bryant. We didn't forget about him. We did not forget about him either.
That began in February. He passed in February, and then the pandemic happened. I'm like, okay, this is how, I think it was a sign that tells us that this year was gonna go bad.
Yep, the moment Kobe was gone is the moment that the year was gone as well.
Right. Well, so far right now, I mean, miserable at the moment, but at the same time, we try to lift our spirits up with as much good news as we can. But as Loud House and Casagrandes fan, as long as we were able to actually have our new episodes on Nickelodeon, we were able to actually, have a fun time talking about them. So, but for this episode, we want to talk about the best moments of the Loud House and the Casagrandes for 2020. Let's start off with you, Omid. Anything that comes up to mind for you?
Oh yes, I got just the thing. Just the thing is when this little cute, this girl here kissed Sam on the cheek in perfect give.
Yeah. I don't have the kiss, but I do have them together. So yeah, that's definitely one moment for the best of 2020.
Luna, that's you. That's you singing the song. That's
oh my god.
Look at that, that's you.
Okay. Stop it there. Stop being obsessed with the doll right now. Okay, so yeah, this continues on with Luna and Sam continuing their relationship, and the fact that they're still together even after Racing Hearts. So this is pretty much the continuation of Luna and Sam's relationship, and so far so good with Luna trying to babysit Clyde's cats and having Sam help out. I think this was just a really a good step forward to having these two, become a really amazing relationship and having these two just become awesome characters. I mean, you, Omid, are definitely a fan of those two. How are you feeling when you saw this episode?
Oh my God, yes. I was feeling the hype, man. Just the absolute hype for this lovely couple. I've been a fan of those two as a couple and a fan of them like individually since the very beginning. Like, oh my God. And just, Luna calling Sam for help because she's an expert in animals. She loves animals. So of course Luna calls Sam over to help her with Clyde's cats. And then just them like going into all of these shenanigans trying to get the cats to try to take care of the cats is just freaking hilarious. And also at the same time, it was also really exciting to see Simon again. Like, I'm not again. It was exciting to see Simon for the first time. His usual cheery self. It's just really fun to watch, and of course the moment we've been waiting for, Luna kissing Sam on the cheek. Where it was like, yes.
Now we just need them. Now we just need them kissing on the lips. But to say the least, at least these two kissing, like Luna sharing a kiss, I think that's absolutely beautiful. Just at least cementing a relationship that these two have. I'm
Oh yeah.
totally on top of. I'm totally on what Luna and Sam are doing right now and what the writers are doing. I know it's not a lot at the moment because obviously that's not the big focus here. I know that relationships and stuff like that are not the big focus when it comes to the Loud House, but as long as they continue with having Luna and Sam pop up, at least that tells you that they're still together or good friends and being amazing girlfriends to say. All right, so let's move on ahead to another part that happened also in 2020. Definitely one episode that I really like. It's called Don't You Forget About Me. It's the episode where Laura's about to go to college, but Lenny is also learning the fact that she's now going to be losing her roommate and stuff. That episode, I think, really did hit me the most, just because, first off, I'm a huge Lori fan. And just the fact that Lenny is also learning the fact that she's about to lose her roommate for the first time and that she's going to be all alone. All this sort of angst that happens here. And the fact that Lenny was trying her best to get Lori out of college so that she can go back home. And it's just so much that there's just so much things that are to say in this episode. But as long as they continue progressing where Lori goes on to college, that's one moment that I thought was amazing. That they're going to continue on with the story. And you can see it right now in season 5 that Lori's moving on to college and he's having a fun time in college. How about you? How did you feel about Don't You Forget About Me?
Oh, I've said before that it's honestly the best season 4 episode. Yes. I'm really sorry, Luna. I mean, I love Perfect Day and all that stuff. Please forgive me, Luna. But
oh my God.
Don't you forget about me. It's a strong episode, okay? Just please forgive me.
What is this?
Come on. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at me. Come on. Anyway, so what I loved about this episode was that it was honestly the peak of Lori and Lenny's relationship, like just the development of it and just the dilemma that Lenny goes through, just the fear that she is losing her closest sibling, can cause Lenny to pretty much do things that she might regret later on. And she does regret later on. I got to give credit to that. And it's a huge lesson for Lenny to learn that, Lori and Lenny will always remain the closest sisters, like no matter how far apart they are. And Lenny learns to just accept the change and pretty much just respect the fact that Lori is going to move on to college and all that stuff. Oh, and also on a side note, Laken and Ronnie and together, like we got a bit of Monica there.
Right?
There, thankfully,
That's
they
not the
used it right. They used it right because they used it in small doses, so it never felt distracting to the plot.
that's not the focus of the episode where Ronnie Ann and Lincoln are just hanging out, but the focus was mostly on Lenny and Lori just dealing the fact that Lori is about to move and Lenny is about to be the oldest sibling in the house. And the fact that these sisters are not going to be hanging out together. And I mean, just the heartbreak that I can feel with Lenny in this episode. And the fact that they're moving on with Lori, I think this is just a perfect episode for me. I just love both characters, and I'm just so happy that the show continues on with them moving on and getting older and stuff, which we're going to be talking about later on.
Yes.
All right. So let's move on to another episode. No, let's actually move on to a couple of episodes that I thought was focused. Okay, do not say that I'm biased here, but I do love the Lori episodes. Like all of the Lori episodes that came in. One of them in particular was going to be Senior Moment. This just was an interesting episode, I have to say. Hold on. Oh, God. Yeah. Sorry, we're gotta do some management here. Okay, anyways. Senior Moment, I thought that was a pretty good episode. I mean, yes, Lori's about to go into her she's in her senior year of high school, but she's been hanging out with Carol and that guy, I forgot his name. But this just gives me a good moment to see that, yeah, this is her last year. She's got to do the best that she can and just best that she can and just have her senior moments. I know that the episode was portrayed not in the best way, where Lori just continues to do a lot of, stereotypical senior hijinks instead of hanging out with her best friends. But that's a learning lesson for Lori to just say, hey, you should be having your best senior moments with your best friends. And the fact that they still hanged out together and did all these kind of moments and stuff is just, yeah, out of character for Lenny. It's not out of character for Lori, but something that should have been striked up on there, just because Lori is just dealing with the fact that she's out of her senior class, about to go to college, and maybe possibly going to be missing her friends like this. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on this episode?
I thought it was a pretty solid episode, just for the simple fact that, like, this is Lori and her last year in high school. So to me, while some could argue that, well, including you, that it is out of character, I honestly think that, to me, it does sort of feel like Lori is going to miss her high school life. So she does try to make the best of it because she knows she's going to move on to college. And so in order to really capture her late memories in high school, of course, she wants to make the most of it. But what she doesn't realize until the very end, of course, is that there are many ways that you can celebrate your high school graduation, not just one particular one. So I'm glad that Lori learns this lesson from her mother.
Yeah,
Rita was very helpful.
I thought it was a really heartwarming moment too, that Lori made a mistake and that her mom came in just to help her out and say that, this is not how senior moments are supposed to be. You should be hanging out with, having the best moments with yourself and other friends and stuff like that. So I love that. I love that little ending right there, and the fact that they ended up hanging out together at the end. So shout outs to Carol Pingree fans. I mean, I miss Carol too. So hope we can see her again. Hope it makes a cameo somewhere. Bring Carol back. Hashtag bring Carol back.
Have Carol visit Lori. Like have Carol visit Lori at a Fairway University.
Yeah, I would definitely see that. I'll love to see that too. All right. So another Loud House moment that I want to bring up. Of course, we're talking about Lori's senior moments here. One episode in particular was the last episode of season 4, is when Lori is about to head off to college. Coop Dreams, I believe, was more of the significant approach of like Lori heading off to college. She now has her brand new car. She can do whatever she wants with that car, and that's pretty much her transportation of her heading over to Fairway University. And this kind of is a heartbreaking one for me because it just makes you feel that Lori's about to drive into the sunset and is about to have her own moments in college. We're not going to see her much in the Loud House, which you can totally see right now in season 5. But uh like when you were watching this episode, it's like, okay, I'm gonna miss my favorite Loud. I can't not say goodbye to her and stuff like that. But I mean, like, if you could piece up together all these episodes of season 4 where Lori's about to do this, go to college, Lori's about to have her last moments as a senior with her friends, and Lori about to get a new car and drive away. These are just like significant moments for a person who is about to go to college and just have a good time, leave away from the Loud House, and just pretty much have a good time in college. I think they really did set it up really well in season 4, just having these 3 episodes come in and just portray Lori about to be an individual heading out in college. Don't you agree with that, Omid?
Yeah, honestly, this was a good way for this was a good episode for Lori's college prep arc because it does show that Lori does need a car, of course, to go to college. Because she can't just take Benzilla. I mean, Benzilla is the Loud's property, so she has to take her own car, and um, and she learns eventually that you can't just bite off more than you can chew for a fancier car. Sometimes you just got to go with whatever is plausible. And I'm glad that that's what she learns throughout the episode. And I'm just gonna say right now, Lori Loud is an Uber and Lyft driver, and it's just so fun to watch. Like, it's fun to see a
Oh yeah.
rideshare episode. Like, it's fun to see a rideshare episode in a recent cartoon like this, especially since rideshares are the go nowadays, especially with Uber and Lyft. So it was nice to see the Loud House, and not just the Loud House, but also other cartoons such as We Bear Bears and Big City Greens tackle the subject of being a rare rideshare driver.
Yeah, there definitely are those episodes as well. I forgot that about that episode where pretty much everybody was in that episode. Like, you could totally see all the characters that were there, like Zach's mom. You can see Liam and her mother and all those animals. I think this was just a huge reference for everybody that there's just a little follow up of pretty much all the episodes that came out in season 4. Like, you get to see Lynn's team, you get to see the Fox quintuplets. There's a lot of references there in that episode that Lori had to drive around, and it just made me had like this sense of nostalgia for all the episodes that we've seen in the Loud House. Yeah. Okay. So that was pretty much it for the. Sorry, there's more Loud House moments there but that was pretty much it for season 4 episodes. When we hit up season 5, we began with the special 1-hour episode called Schooled, and there was a lot to take in for that episode. I mean, Lincoln going to junior high. Lincoln going to middle school. Lori going to college. Lily going to preschool. There's 3 stories in one, but I just feel like in this 1-hour episode, it was just absolutely amazing just to see Lincoln grow up and about to go to middle school, hang out with Lynn, Lynn Jr., who was also in middle school. Lori's going to college, but of course, when she's a freshman, there's a lot of freshman troubles that happen there in college. And of course, Lily going to preschool, which makes sense why Lily didn't want to go to preschool because she wants to stay at home. But at the end, Lily does go to preschool, which means that their writers are amazing for Lily to continue growing up and all. So I believe this episode really did portray the forwardness that the Loud House writers are going to do. So we're going to see Lincoln in junior high. We're going to see Lori in college. We're going to see Lily now in preschool. There's a lot of potential huge stories coming up for the Louds, and just a lot of possibilities to say, because season 5 just started. I would imagine more and more episodes of more and more amazing episodes coming up. But how do you explain your thoughts on Schooled?
Oh, I really loved Schooled. While it is not a perfect episode per se, I think that it's still an amazing one. Just for the simple fact that we get to see Lincoln, Lenny, and Lily, like all these characters that we know and love, like grow up, like age up. And on a side note, aging is a good thing. Just FYI, aging is a legitimately good thing, but I digress. I just love the fact that as we grow older, we watch the Louds grow older with us. Like, in a way, it's sort of like the whole they grow up and we grow up with them sort of thing. And they take on new challenges and new obstacles and all that stuff. And pretty much learn new stuff, take on new environments. Lincoln in middle school, um, Lenny, well, no, not Lenny, Lori, Lori in Ferry University, and Lily in preschool. It's just really engaging to see, well, go them in their hardships and then learn from the hardships, and then they eventually come to learn to deal with their new environments. It's just such a grown up thing to take in per se, and it pretty much transitions with it can pretty much translate to pretty much the audience of all ages, whether you're a college graduate, whether you're in a new job, whether you're a high school graduate, like whether you're a high school graduate like Lori, whether you're a new middle school student like Lincoln, or whether you're a preschool student like a Lily. The part of life is people grow, we grow, and when people grow, they move on to new environments. So, pretty much, it's a lesson we all have to learn and intake. Is that make the best out of your new environment, try to thrive in your new environment, just try new things. And also, one more thing too is that we got this. Is the here we are in the future of the Loud House? Just saying.
I would say that's a good relatable subject there. But yeah, definitely just the fact that they're gonna keep moving forward, like Lincoln going to a new classroom, but they're not gonna be with their friends. He's not gonna be with his friends. And the fact that they're just the fact that like I understand why they had to go to an episode where they just had troubles and they try to fix it in an hour. But in the end, they still end up with what they have. They're just learning. I mean, Lori needs to learn that she has to deal with all these problems. Lincoln has to do the same thing. Lily needs to get out of her shell and go into preschool to socialize with kids too. So, to say the least, I like the fact that they ended with just that. I mean, if Lincoln did actually go back and actually hang out with her friends, then the point of the lesson will not be there. So I like the fact that Lincoln still went back to school and at least still stayed in that class with Chandler, unfortunately. But kind of quite on the point there. It's just the fact that they're just learning. And I like the fact that they're just making episodes that will make them progress as they move on in episodes of The Loud House. All right. Yeah. So that's Schooled, and that pretty much started up season 5. And the other thing too that we're also thinking about in the back of our minds is how about the rest of the Louds? They're also growing up as well. So the next episode that actually came after that was The Boss Maybe. That was a huge Lenny episode because Lenny was pretty much trying to be Lori in this job. Lenny, she's just really nice and kind, and then she's not as authoritative as Lori to say. So she had to call up Lori. She had to do all these she had to do all these kind of stuff just to make sure that the Louds are kept in place and stuff. And then had to get Lori's help, had to get Mr. Grouse's help on a couple of things too. But what I love at the end was that, Lady can still take this. I mean, she's employee of the month for a goddamn reason. So if she was going to be treating her family just like customers, then she could actually have a good time. And you can totally see that in the end of The Boss Maybe. And the other thing too is like this is a huge stepping stone for Lenny because she's now the older sibling. She's got a lot of responsibilities in her hand, besides the fact that she's also a good employee in Writingers. So this really makes me think Lenny is going to grow up really well. How about you? How did you feel about The Boss Maybe?
Oh, I really adored Boss Maybe. Honestly, it's the kind of episode that we've been waiting to see since we find out that Lori's planning to go to Fairway University. We've always wanted to see how Lenny does in terms of filling in Lori's shoes, in terms of taking Lori's place as the leader of the siblings. Because, like you said, Lenny's too nice and sweet and a bit of a ditz to really take charge, take authority. So she's not like you said, she's not the authoritative type like Lori is. So what she learns is that we've seen her leadership in her job when she was working. So Lenny does learn to sort of like take her leadership qualities, her leadership skills in her workplace, and then apply them to her house as well. So I do like the fact that Lenny learns to take charge, and she also learns how to keep the Louds in line. Sort of like how she takes, sort of like how she learns uh, to keep her customers and her two coworkers in line as well.
Yeah. And like I said, a huge stepping stone for Lenny, and the fact that she's growing up and she's becoming the older Loud, it just makes me feel that the writers are doing a really good job with that. So let's move on to another episode that I appreciate. Just the fact that Lori is in this episode. Okay, I get it. I'm a Lori biased person. But Ghosted was actually a really good episode to say. But it's like I said, it's more for Lori's side. Lori's now an individual in college. She has a ghost pretty much haunting her. But the other thing too is that she needs help. Having Lincoln and Clyde come in to help him out, and also having Lucy's what was it? Graveyard team. I forgot what it is. But Lucy's squad also does come in as well, tries to help with the ghost part. As it's just that this is kind of a learning lesson for Lori in this case, just because Lori has always been counting on these guys to help out with ghosts, but at the same time, this is actually her problem. So she had to actually work it by herself, and you can totally see that in the episode where she literally went by herself to a cemetery and actually faced off with a ghost. Which I thought is amazing, that she's now learning individuality, growing up, and dealing with her own problems. And I thought that was just amazing to see how Lori gets portrayed in this episode. Others might say differently, but I say this was a good stepping stone for Lori in this case. How about you, Amid?
I feel that the episode overall is just it's good but not great. But I do like that we got to see Lori. We got to see an entire episode with Lori just doing her thing in Fairway University, like studying and all that stuff. There were some things that bothered me about this episode, like how Lori kind of did Lincoln dirty a little bit by her calling Clyde instead of Lincoln for whatever reason.
That part I cannot forgive her on. I mean, like, what's with the fact of Lori and Lincoln? I thought you guys actually had like a good brother-sister relationship here. Instead, that also was a stepping stone too, where Lori actually calls Clyde, and Clyde actually grows up and not have a bloody nose anymore. So that gag is over. Clyde actually is more not creepy to Lori, to say.
Normal. He's more normal around Lori, but still, regardless, it kind of peeves me. It kind of really peeved me how Lori treated Lincoln in this episode, especially the fact that if it weren't for Lincoln, Lori would still be hiding from Fairway University instead of taking on challenges like Lincoln learned to take on his own challenge in the middle of school, and then like he pretty much gave a speech on how he has to learn to deal with middle school, and that inspired Lori to go back and deal with Fairway University. It's like really just after this, like after that beautiful moment at school, this is how she treats Lincoln, and especially after she left university, meaning that she doesn't see him nearly as much when she's in university. Come on, Lori.
Yeah, I guess that part there, but I know I'm trying to get the good parts with Lori in this case. But yeah, like I said, growing up step for Lori, I understand that the Lori and Lincoln thing is a huge thing. I actually agree with everybody here that Lori and Lincoln should have been, a thing, but just to continue on with the, sister brother relationship, that they're, like they have a good connection of just being awesome brothers and sisters. But calling Clyde and Lori kind of feels like, okay, you just totally left out Lincoln in the ground there, to say. But I have to say, like I said, it's huge stepping stone for Lori, because she's pretty much being an individual and absolutely just facing her own problems. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like honestly, like that's one of the good elements of Ghosted. It's just just seeing Lori dealing with her college life.
Yeah. All right. Besides that, I have to say, it's cool. Like I said, it's Ghost is a mixed episode, but I still say it's a good episode to me, in my case. Moving on. So let's actually talk about the last couple episodes here. Christmas episodes were actually pretty good. Let's start off with Season's Cheatings. We all know about what happened in Season's Cheatings, where Lincoln is pretty much trying to rig the system there just to make sure that he gets that backpack, which he ended up getting, but something happened where he forgot to bring Lola a gift, and he had to end up trading away his backpack for nothing, and ended up giving Lola a good present, and in the end actually getting a good present from Lincoln by Lily. There's a lot of things to talk about here, but I believe this episode we thought was going to be a bad episode, but turned out to be something more of an episode that we all should watch, just because Lincoln. This is a learning lesson for Lincoln to say. The fact that he's trying to rig the system and stuff, and when you try to cheat, you went ahead and get like the punishment for it. So you got your backpack, but at the same time, you totally forgot about the other gift that you're supposed to give away. So at the end, you end up with no backpack, but at the end, you also do get something from Lily, which I thought was absolutely heartwarming. It's a learning lesson for Lincoln, and I thought this was a good way to portray Lincoln's, way of not being selfish anymore and to actually care about people. In your case, Omid, how did you feel about this episode?
Like honestly, everything I've said about Season's Cheatings can be pretty much be interpreted like in my last podcast. I've already said all I needed to say about this pleasant surprise of an episode in the previous podcast, but to keep it short, this was genuinely just a heartwarming episode and definitely one of the best Lincoln Loud centered episodes I have ever seen. Like it has the heart, the joy, the Christmas spirit, just the emotions, especially towards the end, when Lily gave the painting to Lincoln, and just Lincoln just tearing up with joy, and it's just, oh my god, it is just heartwarming. Especially the ending is just beautiful, like I said. And like I said, it steers away from the typical Lincoln Loud formula, which I really do like. It pretty much has its own spin on the Lincoln Loud story. And not only that, but there's also callbacks to season one Lincoln Loud episodes, particularly Sweet Spot, and
Oh,
just the amount of strategizing that Lincoln does, and just the amount of playing that he does. It is just like, this episode is also really fun to watch. It's really fun to see Lincoln try to get his way, but then he ends up learning a huge lesson about the joy of giving at the end. It's just, oh my god! Like I've said all I need to say about this episode, but simply put, it's one of the best season 5 episodes, one of the best Lincoln episodes, and definitely one of the best Christmas episodes for sure.
to say the least, it's definitely one Lincoln episode that I will never forget. It's something that Lincoln would definitely learn from. And just seeing the fact that Lincoln is learning from all of his mistakes turns out to be something heartwarming in the end to say. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna say this though. Do you want to talk about Flipper's Carol or not?
Bah humbug.
So no. Okay, no.
We can, but
here's what,
we
here's
can.
what I gotta say. Here's what I gotta say. It's a good. It's not the best the Christmas Carol remake with the Loud House, but to say the least, I just believe everything was okay with a Flipmas Carol. That's all I can say. Flip was actually a good portrayal of Scrooge, and the ghosts were absolutely nice. Lincoln and Clyde being a ghost of Christmas present, Lucy being ghost of Christmas future. And the other thing too is that the episode did kind of give me a little heart to Flip in this case. That's all I can say. I don't know about you, Amid. I know you don't like it.
No. It's not that I don't like it. It's just, what can I honestly say about Flipmas Carol that I haven't said in the previous podcast? Like, honestly, unlike with Season's Greetings, in which it's very much worth repeating on just how amazing of an episode that turned out to be. All I can say for Miss Carol is that it's an okay episode. It's definitely a good take on a Miss Carol, and like the reason why it turned out to be so good is mainly just the ghosts, mainly the ghosts, and yeah, that's all I gotta say. Just Lisa, Lincoln, Clyde, and Lucy as ghosts were the highlight of the episode.
I thought
Not
they were cute.
definitely
I
not
thought they were cute.
definitely not Flip.
Yeah, I thought they were cute as ghosts. I
Not
thought they were nice.
not Flip as Scrooge himself, just the ghosts.
I like I said, I gave a little heart to Flip that he turned out to be nice, but at the end when he tried to give away that take away that Flippy that Lincoln got, oh yeah, you're going back to your old self. What other Loud House moments do you want to talk about as we look back at 2020?
Let's see.
I would have to say one episode.
The one with Lucy and the morticians are at the beach.
Oh, you like that one, huh? Sand Hassles, I think it's called.
Sand Hassles turned out to be pretty good. Although I mean, I did question at one point on where's the shark attacks, but then again, where they were going to was a lake, and technically sharks don't resonate there. Like sharks don't really live in lakes, so okay, I'll give it a pass. I really do like that it's about how Lucy secretly enjoys the beach and then tries to hide it from her morticians club friends, but then it turns out that at the end, after it's revealed, the morticians themselves actually do warm up to the beach as well. It really does show how much of an influence, how much of an impact Lucy has on the morticians club to have her friends try different things.
One episode that I want to also talk about is Friends in Dry Places. This was going to be an episode where I thought it was going to be where Lincoln tries to look. The episode was actually okay of an episode where Lincoln tries to grip up his friends because he fears that they're going to be going away. Which makes sense because like when they go to middle school, things can possibly happen. I just looked at that episode and I thought that was just amazing that all the friends are still going to be there, even if Lincoln, may not be there. I mean, you can totally see that in season 5, where in school, for example, where Lincoln leaves for a different classroom while the rest of them still stay together. So to say the least, the friend group is still going to be there. And I just love the fact that the friend group is still there. One thing that I also want to be, one thing that I really want to hopefully happen in season 5, can we have a Girl Jordan and Stella episode, please? I need those two. I need Stella to have girlfriends, please. I need Stella to have girlfriends, have friends with that are like a different gender. She's always hanging out with the squad. Why not hang out with Girl Jordan?
Exactly. Like I would welcome Girl Jordan as the 6th member of the group. Honestly,
I would be appreciative with it too. I mean, I'm a fan of Girl Jordan. I'm not gonna admit that.
Oh no, actually, make that 7th because Stella is the 6th and Girl Jordan should be the 7th.
How about anything else you want to bring up for the Loud House before we move on to the Casagrandes?
Honestly, one thing I have to say is that I look forward to more episodes with Lincoln Loud in middle school, Lily in preschool, and Lori in Farrow University. All I'm going to say.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's definitely for sure. All right, so with that in mind, let's head over to the Casagrande memories. So the first episode that came out this year for the Casagrandes was this episode where we actually get to see Ronnie Ann's dad, Arturo. It's called Operation Dad. It's a 30-minute episode. It was an episode which I thought was all right, where we get to see Arturo, and we get it. Arturo lives in Peru, and she's just there just to visit and be a part of the job and save. He's got to go back eventually. But I know that Ronnie Ann, this is out of character for Ronnie Ann, for her to try and bring Arturo and keep him in Great Lake City. I just don't understand. If you can say the least, this is out of character for Ronnie Ann for her to do this, but for her to be bad and for her to misappeal to Arturo and for Arturo to actually pretty much stay in Great Lake City. The episode was okay to say, but I think it would have been better if Arturo actually did leave back for Peru. In my case, it would have been more heartwarming that way, but we're pretty much stuck with Arturo here in Great Lake City right now. How did you like this episode, Operation Dad?
I thought it was pretty okay myself. Honestly, the ending could have been much stronger. I feel that Arturo should have moved to Peru myself. It would have given a much more stronger lesson to Ronnie Yan about her learning to let go, and her learning that she already has her family and her friends back at home, so she can always stay in touch with Arturo. Like sort of like this. Honestly, this is pretty much should have been a uh this should have been the Casagrandes version of Don't You Forget About Me. Where Lenny learns to let go of Lori. Ronnie Ann should have learned to let go of Arturo, but Deus Ex Machina or something like that, where Arturo all of a sudden stays uh with the Great Lake City.
Yeah, I mean, like it would have been, like I said, it would have been more heartwarming just to see Arturo leave off for Peru, but they ended up giving us this, and well, you now have Arturo in episodes. I don't know. It just feels that it was there. It was an episode. I thought it was okay-ish of an episode, not really the best episode, but when it comes to specials like that, they could have done something better than that. That's for sure. All right, so let's move on to another episode. Ronnie Ann and her squad, her best friends, aka the skate team. So it makes sense for them to actually have an episode, which had them all skating, aka team effort. I thought this was actually a pretty heartwarming episode, having pretty much your set friends for Ronnie Ann. You got Mickey, you got Samir, you got Casey, you got Sid Chang, you got Laird, which you didn't expect to actually become a best friend of Ronnie Ann's, but this is your team here. And what I like about this is that this is all coming together, where you get to see Ronnie Ann about to have mischievous adventures with these guys. And you totally see that in most of season 1. I just like this whole group, and I really hope that they have more skateboarding episodes just like this, where they all go in teams and just have like a skate off with another school, or skate off with other people. Maybe have like a one-on-one with a person that Ronnie Ann hates to say, or maybe have like a rivalry between Ronnie Ann and Sid. It just gives us a lot of possibilities. I just love how this all came together, where this squad of skateboarders all came to be. How about you, Omid? How did you like the team effort?
I really do like team effort. It's definitely a very good Ronnie and squad episode to me, because just the amount of team effort put in the squad in terms of them showing off their skills to the coach, who, by the way, is voiced by Jonathan Banks. So it gave me a bit of fangasm right there. I just love the amount of chemistry and teamwork that goes into Ronnie Ann and her gang. And you can really see how close of a bond that Ronnie Ann and her squad really have. It's just like the amount of like team effort, of course, pun intended, that really does capture how much of a legit skate team they are.
Most definitely. And like I said, hopefully we get to see more episodes of those guys just skateboarding. I just love the team, and I love this friend group that they have right here. Let's have more episodes of that, please. Not that one episode where they're about to fight for besties. Please, not that episode. No. Okay, so let's move on to episodes for the Casagrandes that actually reflects a lot when it comes to things that we can learn from. Mexican culture has been a huge thing in the Casagrandes, and it's been portrayed in a lot of episodes in the Casagrandes. Let's start off with one that talks about the Baile Folklorio misstep. This was actually an episode that I thought was pretty amazing. It's just mostly a Frida episode, but it does teach us a little bit about the Baile Folklorio and how popular it is, how festive it is for Mexican culture, and how fancy it is to have to have like a family of like have a Latin family pretty much experience the Mexican culture and do dances just like this. How did you like the portrayal of Mexican culture here in this episode?
Oh, I thought that they treated with such great respect, in a similar manner to how Croaked legitimately treated Dia de los Muertos with the respect that it deserved. This episode treated how do you pronounce it?
Baile Folklorio.
Baile Folklorio, just with the amount of respect and just the amount of education per se, like because this show is aimed for younger audiences. It's aimed for kids. So it was nice to have the kids learn about more about Mexican heritage uh, with this and Croaked and the next episode that we're going to be talking about right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, just look at them. By the way, in this picture, they look fancy in their dresses. It's beautiful. Look at
Rania's
Rania.
smile. Rania's smile just kills me.
Also, another thing too, we need a lot more of Maria's past. Apparently, she's also into the Bryant folklore. I'm like, what? Where have we not seen like character development of Maria? Because all we see her is a nurse, and she does a lot more stuff. We also get to see that in an episode that has not even aired on Nickelodeon yet, but you get to see how Maria is.
Actually, there is a bit here and there with VIP where we learned that she went to a lot of rock concerts and snuck out.
Yeah, but it's not as much as like, let's say not Operation Dead. That one episode where they were lost together. I thought that was actually a good thing to catch on Maria. But the other thing too is like
vacation days.
There is no focus on Maria, and I really hope that they put more on that in season 5, which you will. We have already seen a couple episodes of season 5. Or not. We get to already see a couple episodes of season 2 of the Casagrandes. I keep getting that wrong. Loud House is season 5. Casagrandes is season 2 right now. All right, so let's move on to another Mexican culture episode called Mexican Makeover. A lot of Mexican references in this episode I thought was all right because it just pretty much portrays a lot of Mexican cultures, like, the what more? You get to see like them Mexican dresses, a lot of they always eat a lot of hot stuff. Wrestling is a huge thing over in Mexico, apparently. I didn't know about that. Luchadora, that kind of stuff.
Lucha Libre.
But they keep getting portrayed here in this episode, and it just gives us more and more to think about when it comes to Mexican culture. I mean, how did you feel about this episode? And I'm sorry if I put this picture up here, but it's from YTV, but this is the only thing I can see from the only thing I could actually get from this episode.
I thought it was pretty good. It was good to see. It was good to get more insight into Mexican culture and what Mexican culture is really all about. Lucha Libre, eating spicy stuff, all that stuff. It's just, I know. Also, music. Music is another. Important thing. It was just nice to see what it's all about and how authentic they try to be for the great abuela. And I need to mention one thing. Rania looks so cute in her dress.
Right? Does she look great with the braids and all?
Yes.
We need more Mexican cultured Rania to say. I mean, like, you saw it in Misstep. You can also see that right here in Mexican Makeover. So we need more of that. And like I said, it's a man episode. I didn't know they actually have a great abuela. So there she is right there. All right, let's move on. But to say the least, I really hope that they make more episodes of the Casagrandes and Mexican culture, because it just makes us learn more about the Mexican culture. And I'm pretty sure they're going to do more and more of that, especially when season 2 continues on here next year.
I agree.
Okay, so let's move on to an episode that I did not actually think that was going to be so good, but I think we needed it. Look, we've seen a lot of Ronnie Ann, we've seen a lot of Bobby, we've seen a lot of the Casagrandes. Why don't we actually have an episode where we actually see just the little side characters? Well, not really side characters. You actually have a main character. Well, you actually do have a side character, but you also do have a main character in this episode as well. Uptown Funk was definitely an episode that I never expected to see, but I was like desperately really wanted to see these two actually work together, and they worked together and actually turned out to be a really fun, cute friendship to say. Because Carl continues to be like a person who just loves to skis people, but Adelaide is just an absolute a pure person you can't just ever hate on. Just having these two together just makes me think that these two can actually work out as friends. They might be neighbors, but they can also work as friends. I'm not saying a ship, by the way. I'm just saying it friends. Look, people are shipping these two. I'm saying they're going to be really cool together. How about you? How do you like this episode?
I really like it. It was good to finally see a Carl and Adelaide episode because prior to this episode, we never really see them much together. Well, aside from that one scene in Monster Cash, but that's really about it.
But
I've
don't
been waiting to
forget
see
how
an
to figure
episode.
Carl.
I've been waiting to see an episode with them because they are technically the same age, so they do work well as best friends and then eventually boyfriend and girlfriend.
Whoa,
But
whoa,
what
whoa, whoa,
you
whoa, we're not
know,
there yet.
who
We're
knows
not
where
there
that'll
yet.
be?
We're not
Who knows
there
where
yet.
that'll be? It was just so good to see like Carl trying to weasel his way, Carl trying to get what he wants, trying to take advantage of Adelaide, but then in the process, Carl gets the ultimate karma to him, and then eventually he learns not to take advantage of her, and she does forgive him at the end. Um, you might have a sneaky suspicion that Adelaide knows deep down that Carl's trying to take advantage of him, of her, and she's trying to give him just the absolute karma.
I think to say the least, like Adelaide is a really smart girl. Just watch. I could totally see her taking advantage of Carl in the near future.
Definitely. When they get married, like
Oh my
Adelaide
god!
is gonna be the one. Adelaide is going to be the big man at the house, like
I
not
can't
Carl,
believe you're.
but
I
Adelaide's gonna
can't
be the
believe.
one in charge.
I can't believe you're pushing on the idea of Carl and Adelaide together. I mean, like they could be together. I have to say that they're absolutely cute together. Yeah, possibly. I'm just a person who says that they're good as friends at the moment, but they could probably grow up and actually become a ship. I don't know. It could be interesting.
It's like with Ronikin, like they work together either as friends or otherwise.
Right. That I mean, it makes sense there. All right, so that was another moment that we could talk about for the Casagrandes. There's another moment that I also want to bring up too, that also did bring Carl and Adelaide together because they did work together as best friends in this one episode. But it also did bring the squad together. It also did bring a lot of season one references in this episode as well. It's called Blunder Party. Oops, Blunder Party. Um, this is a very small picture. I didn't realize that. But yeah, it's just pretty much amazing where I can get to see a portrayal of season one all in one episode. Another thing that I also want to bring up, what the freak is going on here? Because the Casagrandes are doing a much better job with continuation compared to the Loud House. This pretty much proved the point there. Look, you
I
get to see
know, right?
Bobby and you get to see Bobby and what was freak? I forgot his name again. Shit.
Par.
There we go. Okay. You get to see Bobby and Parr together. You get to see Carlotta being fashionable. You get to see Carl and Adelaide hang out. You get to see Ronnie and Sid and the squad pretty much hang out too. This pretty much all reference back to season one. Plus, you also get to see what was it? The girl with the papayas. I keep forgetting names now. It's a lot. Like I said, a lot of references there. I forgot the old lady with the who loves papayas. I forgot.
The old lady. It was one of the tenants of the apartment, right?
Think so. I don't remember. Anyways, maybe somebody on YouTube can help us out here. But yeah, I mean, just the fact that they I just feel like this episode just makes me feel that they know continuation and they actually portray it in this episode. I'm like, great, that's awesome. We need more of that than what the Lighthouse is doing right now. I don't know. I mean, in my case, this is just more of like how the writers really do focus back on their previous episodes and actually reference them and actually continue on with it. Having like Bobby and Parr become friends, you can totally see that in this episode, and just the fact that they might have potential of continuing on with that story as well. In your case, I mean, how'd you feel about how Blunder Party was for you?
Oh, Blunder Party was definitely a great episode. It was great to see Ronnie Ann and the squad together, and at the same time, it was great to see Carl and Adelaide together, and just having the two intertwine, like how they combine, is just a really fun episode to watch. And of course, Carl and Adelaide on the scavenger hunt, it's just really fun to see, and it really does leave me wanting more Carl and Adelaide interactions and Carl and Adelaide centered focus episodes.
I really hope they have more of those, but of course, I really do. Like I said, I really do want more of the Friend Squad if they can ever make more episodes of those. Season 2 has a lot of potential. Let's hope we have that. All right. One more thing that I also want to bring up too, and it's actually the episode that we just watched, A Very Casagrandes Christmas, which I thought was, I think, a really amazing hit. Just the fact that, this is a learning lesson for Ronnie Ann. And just the fact that the neighbors all came in to help Ronnie Ann out, and Ronnie Ann helped them with their situations, plus the whole festivities that they were also celebrating as well. It felt like it was an amazing Christmas episode to say. Like, it really did portray what Christmas is all about. We really did a review about this last episode, but do you want to just make a little synopsis of how you felt about A Very Casagrandes Christmas?
Okay. So there's not much I can really add to that I haven't said at the last podcast that I talked about this episode, because I said plenty about this episode like in the previous podcast. So there's not much that I can really add on to it. But needless to say, to keep it brief, I really do love this Casagrandes Christmas episode. I feel that it's definitely up there as one of the best Loud Casa Christmas episodes. Not as strong as 11 Loud Sleeping, but it does really stand strong on its own. There were just a few gripes that I had with it. Ronnie Ann being selfish, and the cocktease ending. But other than that, though,
you'll never stop thinking about that ending.
I'm never gonna let it down. But other than those,
they had the louds there for like 30 seconds.
I feel this was really solid regardless, because of how much heart, how much humor, how much shenanigans that it really did have, and how once again we learned about the Mexican heritage and how the Mexicans celebrate Christmas.
Yeah. There's not too much I can say here. It's just a really amazing episode. All right, so that's pretty much all of our thoughts on our favorite Casagrandes and Loud House memories, unless you have more Casagrandes memories you want to think about.
Nothing that much that really does come to mind per se. Not much I can add. Well,
I can think of one. I can think of one thing.
Curse.
Oh yeah, Curse. That's right. That's what I talked about. Curse was also a good episode. Why did I put that on the list? The crossover episode between Ronnie with the Louds and the Casagrandes. What the hell am I thinking? Okay, I didn't actually put it up on our thing. Maybe it was just because we're absolutely fast on this. But yeah, Curse was an amazing episode. I have to say, having a crossover episode of of the Louds and the Casagrandes, I think was necessary, because I thought this was actually a pretty cool crossover episode. And the fact that there's two are interacting with each other. I mean, more Ronnie and Lincoln moments, please. What more can you say about Curse, Domid?
Honestly, there's nothing much more I can say about Curse that hasn't been said before. I really do like this episode. Primarily because we got to see the Casagrandes and Louds interact with each other. But I feel that there could have been some things that could have been done differently, such as have each Loud and each Casagrande interact much more. And also, of course, the hospitality is just plain awful. Seriously, what was up with the coffins, really? But other than those, though, I really do love the moments with Ronnie Ann and Lincoln, of course. Dude, like wet-haired Ronnie Ann is something. Wet-haired Ronnie Ann.
I get it. Your hair is wet. It's cute.
And then she gets up close to Lincoln's face, and it's like, oh my god,
a lot more Ronnie Ann Lincoln moments. I swear we need more of those.
Oh, and also the moment where Ronnie Ann puts her hand in her car.
Okay. You really are pushing the buttons of all of our Ronnie Kid fans out there.
Just all those little details are honestly the best parts of the Casagrandes visit. You know what I mean? They're honestly just those little details are the best parts of the Casagrandes visit.
Yeah, I mean, there's also the planning part where Ronnie Ann just can. I felt it was great. Just the episode, just having those two families together. I mean, we got it from Loudest Thanksgiving, but I thought it was bad. And then we get the Cursed episode, which I thought was much better than the Loudest Thanksgiving. I hope we can get more loud Casa interactions, and there might be possible when it comes to the Casagrandes, but another crossover episode, please, and like just like Cursed, if possible.
Hey, we need more loud Casa talks amongst the
Yeah,
family. I'm just saying.
it's all about. Okay. I guess that's all I can say for. Oh wait, I forgot to tell you. Don't forget, Sergio is a murderer. Okay, because he is a murderer.
Oh god. Yeah.
That's definitely one of the better. Oh, and also another thing I also want to talk about, Bobby being a cat. I thought that was funny. I thought that was a really funny episode. I understand people kind of don't like the episode, but everything around that episode was hilarious. Like Bobby licking himself, Bobby acting like a cat.
I thought it was okay. I thought it was just a bit bizarre for a slice of life show like the Casagrandes, but that's really about it. Bobby being a cat was adorable, though.
What you can do when you're hypnotized. Apparently, when you're hypnotized, you don't even know that you're a cat. So,
Nate, yeah,
okay, you're trying to turn cat now, huh? Okay. All right, that's all I can say about the Casagrandes moments. So let's move on to what we think is our favorite Loud House and Casagrandes episodes.
Ooh, juicy.
Let's start with our Loud House episodes. What's your favorite for 2020?
Okay. Well, if I had to choose what is my favorite Loud House episode of 2020, honestly, it's not just one episode that I am picking as my absolute favorite of that year. No. It's actually two. It's actually a tie between two amazing season 5 episodes. Boss Maybe and Band Together.
Okay. You just want Band Together because you get to see Luna. I should put that up here too, because Luna's band actually is going to be a huge storyline coming into season 5.
Now, these two episodes I feel have the most heart, the most development given to the characters, Lenny and Luna respectively. Both show a new journey that they go through in their respective paths, and both show incredible stepping stones for the two characters. Lenny being a leader and boss of not just her workplace, but also her family and her home as well, while Luna experiencing what it's like to be with a more famous band and seeing how it's not all that it's cracked up to be, nor is it as fun with them as it was with her friends. And also, the episode does show the real chemistry between Luna and her bandmates. By the way, Moon Goats rocks, by the way. Yeah, dude, Moon Goats rock! Moon Goats! Check out our band, dudes!
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a little too handsy with that. But don't now. Okay, anyways. But you also did say about Band Together? Or did you already say it?
Okay. Another thing too is that I know some people are questioning why I haven't mentioned Band Together earlier when we mentioned Loud House moments, and that's mainly due to the fact that I actually wanted to keep it a surprise when I mentioned what my favorite Loud House episode is. So that's the thing. Like, if I mentioned Band Together, it would sound a bit redundant.
Okay. I mean, for my favorite episode for the Loud House, I would have to say School, just because it's just an absolute stepping stone for everybody out there. And I know that it's continuing on for every Loud. Like, you get to see Lenny grow up, you get to see Luna and her band become a thing that can be a possible huge thing for Luna. And Lori going to college, you get to see Lincoln going to middle school, and there's probably more shenanigans for Lincoln going into middle school. And you also get to see Lily go into preschool, which is good because you don't have those baby jokes anymore. She's now potty trained. Lily's now a little kid who's having fun in preschool. There's just so much potential now for the Loud House. And I feel like the way that school was portrayed in the episode just makes me feel that this show is going to continue on and continuing to grow and continuing to make us feel good about how the show is going to be about. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite, definitely School for 2020. I think that was a really amazing episode. Now let's head over to our Casagrandes episode. What is your favorite Casagrande episode?
You know, my favorite Casagrandes episode of 2020, I'm going to be honest, it was much harder for me to choose a favorite Casagrandes episode than a Loud House episode. But honestly, if I had to choose one, okay, bear with me. I know that I'm going to cheat, okay? I know I'm going to cheat, but it's an episode that I saw on Amazon Prime Video. And it is most definitely Guilt Trip. I
Ooh.
absolutely love Guilt Trip. It's definitely ranks among my top three favorite Casagrandes episodes. It's just that amazing because this episode is just heartwarming. It honestly has the most heart put. It's one of those episodes just has one of those episodes that has the most heart put into it because just the amount of lengths that Ronnie and Bobby go through, just the amount of different things that they do, just the amount of risks that they take just to give their mother the vacation that she deserves because she's been working so hard. Like, oh my gosh, it is just a sight to behold. And honestly, Maria is definitely lucky to have both of them in her life. It's just um, and of course the shenanigans, the amount of things that they do is also very creative as well. Like they go through restaurants, they take on new challenges, they even dance their butts off to give Maria the vacation. And I'm not going to give away the ending, but the ending is just nothing short of just sweetness. Like, and the ending was very well handled. I'm not going to give too much away because I don't want to spoil for anyone, but if you watch Guilt Trip, like give it a watch. When Guilt Trip, as soon as Guilt Trip goes on air on Nickelodeon, I highly recommend you watch it immediately. You'll see why I consider it my favorite Casagrandes episode of 2020.
What episode that never got on Nickelodeon? That's interesting.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, I feel for that just because you feel for Maria and how she had to deal with her pain and stuff, and how she missed out on so much stuff to because of her kids, Bobby and Ronnie Ann. Just say very heartwarming. But that's not actually my favorite episode. My favorite episode for the Casagrandes would have to be Cursed. Most definitely, I never expected to see a crossover this amazing. I mean, this crazy. The Casagrandes just being ridiculous, and we also get to see George Lopez just being George Lopez, and the interaction with the Louds. I thought that was just fun all around. That the mayhem of just having two families in one house turns out to be really crazy, just like that. I feel that I feel like it's great just to see the Cursed episode like that. But definitely, most definitely, my favorite episode for 2020 with Cursed. And like I said, I have so much to talk about with Cursed, but you can totally see that in our review with Sunny and JD in our previous episode. All right, so now I want to talk to you about this, Omid. 2021 is coming up really soon. What do you want to see in 2021 for the Loud House and the
um,
Casagrandes?
what I want to see in 2021 for the Loud House of Casagrandes is, of course, more Loud House of Casagrandes crossovers. The more, the merrier. Um, just give the personal interactions between a Loud and a Casagrande. Like, have more scenes with like Lenny and Carlota. Have more scenes with Carl and Lola. Have more scenes with Lynn Senior and Rosa, of course, because they both like to cook. I just want to see more of that, like more relationships between the Louds and the Casagrandes. And also another thing too is that I actually want a Ronnie Ann and Bobby episode, just the two of them on a mission or an adventure, just together, just spending quality time together because we don't really see that much. We just see Ronnie Ann and Bobby with their family, and that's pretty much it. But I actually want to see Ronnie Ann and Bobby together because we don't really see much quality episodes with Ronnie Ann and Bobby. We see quality episodes with Lincoln and one of his sisters, um, and one of his many sisters at that. Um, but we don't really see Ronnie and Bobby for some reason. Oh, and also I cannot stress this enough: a Sid Chang centered episode.
Yes.
I cannot stress this enough.
More Sid episodes.
Oh yeah. And also more Luna and Sam episodes. You know, more episodes with this girl. Come on, more episodes with this girl.
All right. I will have to say, since we have schooled, I do want to see more Lori episodes with her in college. I mean, like, there's a lot of potential with Lori in college that it could actually become its own miniseries to say. Lincoln in middle school is going to be a huge thing. I would imagine seeing a lot of like a lot of friends doing other things. Like I said, I want a Stella and Sid, like a Stella and Girl Jordan episode if they're ever gonna be one, or if like Liam does his own thing or Zach does his own thing. I always see Lincoln do his own thing in junior high. That could be also a thing as well. But there's a lot of potential for maybe individual episodes. You get to see a lot of individual episodes with Clyde. There could be a possibility of that. I do want to see the Loud sisters also grow up. I want to, because we already see Lenny grow up. We already see Luna grow up and have her band. How about Luann? How about Lucy? How about the other sisters? I would imagine that they're also going to have some growth episodes as well. I mean, we also got Lola and Lana's birthday episode. I thought that was also a really good episode. There's a lot of good ones actually. We just never list them down. But yeah, I mean, as long as we get to see continuous growth in the Loud House, then I can totally see this show continuing to become very successful. But for the Casagrandes, at the moment, I just feel like they're already good as it is right now. I don't see any more potential. Maybe, like I said, a team effort episode, part 2, where they actually, team up together again as a skateboarding team, more of the squad as friends. And I always wanted to see like more of the Casagrandes having their own episodes. I mean, we get to see Frida and Carlos in a future episode coming up. We get to see maybe another Abuelo or Abuela episode, maybe another Bobby episode. I need more Carlota episodes because I feel like Carlota is really underrated because she's a really awesome character, but we never have good episodes of her. We always see her VIP'd, but there needs to be more than that. And
you'll be surprised because there's actually going back to Amazon Prime Video, there's actually a recent Carlota and CJ episode, which I thought was outstanding, but I'm not going to give anything away.
Don't give anything away, but yes, you're missing out on a lot of stuff in Amazon Prime, by the way. But yeah, I have to say there's tons of stuff going on. I really hope there's more portrayal of the Casagrandes, working as a team or being individual. I'd love to see a Sid Chang focused episode, maybe more Carl and Adelaide episodes, maybe an Adelaide episode of her own self. There's just so much potential. I have to say, I can't wait to see what 2021 will have for us. I mean, there's only a little bit to say the least, what will 2021 will give us. But I will have to say this, there are some potentials on what 2021 will give us, because we actually do have some clips that actually got leaked from Nickelodeon, because they actually did put up an ad for 2021, what we're going to be seeing. There are some pictures that I do want to show you, Omi. Just come into the part and I'll show you. This little picture of Lincoln as a magician, I thought that was actually pretty cool that he's still having the subject of being a magician there. I mean, this is just one clip. How do you feel about Lincoln in this part? Look, she has a fedora. That's I thought was pretty cool. A magician. What more can I say?
He looks more like a jazz musician to me rather than a magician, but that's just me. By the way, Soul portrayed by the Loud House, right there.
What's that? Betrayed.
Soul portrayed by the Loud House.
Oh, right. Soul, like the Soul Eater Soul. I get it.
Look at, he has the clothes of a jazz musician. Have you noticed that? Maybe it's just me.
I totally forgot about that because like I haven't seen Soul Eater in forever. I forgot about that episode. But then I also do want to show you this as well. It looks like it's, from what I'm seeing here, some people are saying that it's, how do you portray this? Because I know it's another person in Lynn's team, and I think it's Liam in this case. I don't know if it is Liam. People are saying it is him, but it looks like a new kid. But there's another Lynn episode where another kid is in the team, and he's doing a pretty good job with it. You also get to see other characters as well in that shot. So I don't know. It looks like more of a Lynn episode having a successful time with junior high team here.
Come on, you're honestly going to tell me that does not look like Liam, folks? This is Liam. He's in middle school now. Come on.
I just realized it's the hair. I totally forgot about that.
No, you can see by the face. You can see by the face and the buck teeth, like the missing gap tooth there. That's definitely Liam for sure. Wow. And it's actually good to, and it's actually good to see Liam take on new challenges in middle school, kind of like how Lincoln did in school. And one of the challenges that Liam faces is sports, baseball. So I bet you anything that like Liam has to has to be on a team for school credit or something like that. And then Lynn takes Liam under her wing and she shows him the ropes. It's like you never really expect Lynn and Liam to bond. I actually want to see where that goes.
I definitely can't believe that Liam could be a baseball player. I know he's just more of a farmer, but maybe. Well, I mean, baseball's a. Well, I know baseball's a pastime sport, so maybe it's a huge thing over for country boys to actually know about baseball. So I can't wait to see how this goes. Maybe he's going to be a good baseball player for Lynn's team.
Oh my God, Nate. Okay, I'm seeing right now. Like I'm seeing. I know what the Loud House fandom is thinking right now. They're thinking, let's see, Lynn and Liam. They're probably shipping Lynn and Liam in their minds right now. What do you think?
Maybe with another person, maybe Francisco if he ever comes back.
Liam.
No, I'm not. I don't know if I mean, like, I cannot see that. Lynn can be with other boys, but I mean, maybe with Liam. I don't know. I can't see that with Liam. Maybe others can see that, but no, not me.
I think Liam might develop a crush on Lynn in this episode. I don't know. I leave it up to you guys. I leave it up to you, Nate. I leave it up to whoever's watching, whoever's listening. What do you think?
We'll see how it goes. All right. So that's pretty much it for our best moments of 2020. There's a lot that we actually talked about. I mean, like the fact that Nickelodeon is still showing like new episodes of The Loud House and the Casagrandes is very helpful, especially when it comes to a year like this. It makes us a little bit more cheerful that we're fans that we can actually watch these episodes. But we know that this year sucked, but this at least helped out a little bit.
Yeah, it helped cheer us up. Like it was something that we needed in this dreadful year. Something to lighten the mood.
Most definitely. All right. So yeah, if you guys have, I know that we also did put up a poll talking about our favorite 2020 moments, but we also want to hear from you. And that's why we went to our fan favorite section, fan reactions questions right now. We pretty much put up a question like 2 hours before our broadcast to tell you, to show us what's your favorite moments from The Loud House and the Casagrandes in 2020. So let's go ahead and head over to our board and see what people are saying. This person here called Ronnie and said, "Oh, Blitzen MFG. I know this guy. He's on he's in one of my discords that I go to. For him, the Casagrandes is I came down with sugar, but I got something much more." Sid Chang from Never Friending Story. Okay,
I love that quote. I love
Bryant
that quote.
and Sid, our cute best friend duo. I'm not going to be surprised if they're going to be a couple, to be honest. And then Omid will love this one. Luna kissing Sam on the cheek in Perfect Gig.
Yes. I already went into detail on why I absolutely love it. So, yeah.
A lot of people are loving the Luna part. All right. Yeah. So we got our man Gilbert Gann. He's also back on our answer board for our fan reaction page. He did put up this. These guys. That's pretty much one of his best moments for 2020. No doubt about it. I do love these.
Just seeing all of them together and solving a mystery. It was honestly a sight to behold. So yeah, I do agree. Just them as a squad is just, really, really awesome to see.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. All right, so here's from Colby C316 on Twitter. His favorite moment here is this part right here. These two for sure. No doubt about it. They're cute. No doubt about it. They were actually cute as Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah, honestly, like I said, it was the highlight of Flip Miss Carol. They are honestly what made the entire episode for me. Just these two, as well as Lucy and Lisa as ghosts, like spooking the bejeebers out of Flip. It's just really fun to watch. It's just so satisfying and just enjoyable.
Oh yeah, absolutely. All right, so here's another reaction from Mark Ondo from Twitter. His favorite moment here of 2020. Definitely this little moment right here. Aww. Aww.
Oh, yes. My heart.
Look,
my heart.
That actually was a topping. That actually proved to be the very best topping on an amazing episode.
I absolutely. Oh my God. The ending of Season's Cheatings was just, Oh God, my heart just couldn't take. Like I was in tears of joy the same way as Lincoln. It was just so beautiful to see, and honestly, it was a cherry on top in this really amazing Christmas episode.
All right. I mean, yeah, definitely. Like I said, a really amazing topping on an amazing episode for Christmas. Now,
Also,
here's
Lily's
a
got talent. Lily's got talent.
yeah, she could be a good artist. All right, so let's move on to this guy. He was a guest star in our podcast, Yahomi JD. He did put up this. I don't know if you guys can hear this clip, but let's see.
I don't think I can hear it myself, but
Okay.
I do see what you're talking about. I do, of course, I see what you're talking about. Just like the moment where Lori is inspired by Lincoln's words of taking new challenges. Like I said, it's possibly the best scene in the entire episode because of how much inspiration that her younger brother has of Lori herself, and just these two learning the same lesson to take on new challenges and stuff. Like, oh my God, like that scene is just so insightful. That scene is just so it's very inspiring because it inspires the audience as well who are watching, whether young or old, who are taking on new challenges themselves. Like they could take those words to heart the same way Lori did.
Oh yeah, and the fact that they continue on with the Lori learning from Lincoln interaction stuff, and just those two together having a good brother sister bond like that. I think that's just very heartwarming to see. Now I do have one more thing from our friend Alonso. I don't know if you actually still remember him, but his favorite moment for 2020 was this.
Yes, yes,
Yes, I would imagine me
yes,
being all crazy about this.
yes. You know for sure. She knows for sure. She loves it.
We can talk more about this kiss, but we have said way too much. Definitely something amazing to see with these two together.
Beautiful. That's beautiful. That's your kiss.
I can't believe we getting all freaked out about this.
Oh my God. My God. Alonso, huge shout out to you, man. Huge shout out to you. Love you, man.
All right, so that's pretty much it. Thank you very much for listening onto our podcast. Just remember that you can be able to listen to our podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts, on Anchor, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Podcasts, wherever like I said, wherever you listen to podcasts, you'll be able to hear us there. We're also available on YouTube for you guys to check out. We'll also have our videos for us to, we'll have video plans up coming up in the near future. But if you are wanting to subscribe to us on YouTube, please do. Your subscriber really help us out. And yeah, thank you very much for listening in. We're going to be on hiatus for a little bit. We won't be back until mid-January. But to say the least, most definitely an amazing time.
Yeah, I had such a super awesome fun time just talking about the best of Wilds of Casagrandes 2020. It was definitely a good way to end this year off with a bang.
Oh yeah, most definitely. And you know what? 2021 is about to start off pretty good. So hopefully pretty good. I don't know how it's gonna be. Omid, are you gonna say something about that? Something that's coming up for me?
Um, of course, of course. Next week we got Nate's birthday coming up, so January 2nd.
I thought you didn't forget my birthday. Okay, I see how it is.
January 2nd, we got Nate's birthday coming up, so show some love for our admin there,
Thank you very much, I would say. So my birthday's coming up next on the 2nd, so that's why I'm taking my little hiatus. It kind of sucks that we cannot be able to hang out and celebrate this year. I was planning to do something huge, but of course with our COVID thing, I'm just gonna stick at home for this year. So yeah, for the safety of everybody, I'm going to be staying home.
Dude, I'm so gonna miss your parties, man.
I know. Remember, we always go to like Korean barbecue and hang out, eat out there, have fun. Then Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it all goes down. But yeah, most definitely, I can't wait to see how this next couple of days are going to be. But let's just hope we can ring in 2021 with a bang. Anyways, thank you very much for checking in. My name is Nate,
And this is Omid.
and we're signing off for 2020. We will see you guys
And
in 2021 for the next episode.
and we just want to say thank you so much for all the love and support you've given us. And we hope and we will see you in 2021. And until next time, smell you later, dudes.